A few weeks ago, I tasked the First Minister with some questions on the issue of working from home. I think it's a valid issue for us to be talking about here in the Assembly because there is the ever-increasing problem of congested roads, which of course was part of what Adam was talking about earlier. So we do have to look at ways of getting traffic off the roads. Now, you have a personal input into this, Leader of the House, in your role overseeing the digital broadband rollout across Wales, although of course you're here in a different capacity today, I understand that. But thinking about those things, are you optimistic that your digital broadband rollout could lead to much greater numbers of people being able to work from home in the near future?
Yes, absolutely. We've got super-fast broadband to over 733 premises across Wales. That's broadband over 24 megabits a second for around 60,000 of those and over 30 megabits a second for the vast majority. The average speed in that rollout is around 80.5 for fibre to the cabinet and up in the 300s for fibre to the premises. Wales now has the largest penetration of fibre to the premises properties anywhere in Western Europe. We have a good strategy for getting out to the remainder of those, the remaining properties, including our excellent community strategies, one of which has just won a pan-European award for the community effort that they've put in, backed by the Welsh Government's ultra-fast voucher scheme. So a simple answer to his question is yes, I'm very pleased that the broadband rollout is happening. It needs to be accompanied with rather more than just the infrastructure, though, and we follow it with a business exploitation programme, which has been hugely successful in getting SMEs to exploit the connectivity that we've provided to them. And a recent report by a well-known university of ours shows SMEs very starkly the difference in their bottom line if they take full advantage of that new access and if they don't. And we have a business exploitation programme specifically to allow that. We've also been pushing via the Fair Work Commission a series of 21st century working practices based on outputs and not hours worked, and those will all contribute to people being able to work more frequently from home. There are a range of other measures that can be put in place to assist people to work from home. I think the Llywydd is going to be impatient with me if I start to enumerate them here, so it would take me about an hour.
Well, that sounds encouraging. I may give you another opportunity. Now, obviously, as the point you made was, of course, not just infrastructure. So I was glad to hear about your business exploitation programme. Now, thinking specifically about the issue of getting companies to encourage more flexible working, and particularly working from home, are there ways in which you believe the Welsh Government could be offering incentives, such as financial incentives, for instance, to companies in Wales to encourage more working from home? Could the Government set targets for this and offer incentives to companies to reach those targets?
Yes, we've explored all of those options for 21st century working as part of our economic action plan underneath our Prosperity for All overarching strategy. We're in close communication with a large number of our anchor and regionally important companies around different working practices. I have to say I've seen some excellent examples of that around Wales, and we have some real flag wavers for that kind of practice. We also have a scheme for the Welsh Government of distributed offices and working from home. We've invested a considerable amount of money in modern IT kit to enable that, and I'm very pleased that in this we're a very serious role model.
Thank you for the details of that initiative. Now, another thing I know that you have been involved with in the past is travel plan coordinators who were supposed to be working with employers across Wales to encourage sustainable travel. And they were supposed to be encouraging things like car sharing and video conferencing, as well as flexible working and working from home. I have struggled to find much information on these travel plan coordinators. There does seem to be a lack of information in the public domain on the success or otherwise of this scheme so far. So could you do anything to enlighten us on this either today or, failing that, perhaps on a date in the near future?
Yes, we've been looking at regional coordinators across Wales to work with clusters of companies to make sure that we get the best economic impact for Welsh Government spending and indeed for the spending that the companies themselves put in place. And that has a range of items associated with it, including, for example, for some tourist industries, sharing back office functions, because it's clear that an HR function is very difficult to sustain in a lifestyle company. So we've had extensive conversations around Wales with different clusters of companies about taking forward 21st century working practices. I'm happy to provide the member with more. If he wants to write in and tell me exactly what he wants, I'm happy to provide him with more information. But there are a very large range of initiatives in place.